All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Fernal. If you're tuning into this, you've probably met me before because I'm not sure this will draw a lot of new viewers right away. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to begin with. Um, yeah, this is something new again. Um, I decided that really the way my brain works, I guess, is I just have to do things. I've been thinking about doing this for a long time, and it seems to be coming together clear in my head. So I thought I'd begin. So what this is it's going to be a series of videos that I'm going to call "In Search of Myself." Hope that doesn't sound too, I don't know, egotistical. It's really not meant to be. Um, I guess really where it comes from is the fact that over the years I've thought of myself as a lot of different people. We have a tendency to, at least I have a tendency to compartmentalize myself. So sometimes I'm a dad, sometimes I'm a husband, sometimes I'm a teacher, sometimes I'm a photographer, sometimes I'm a writer, um, and sometimes I'm a podcaster. And I often feel like those things are, I try to keep them separate for some reason because they really are me. And so, in many ways, this is an attempt to figure out, I guess, who I am. I'm now 54 years old. I'm certainly in the second part of my life. Um, I feel like I'm learning more now, perhaps, than I was 10 years ago. Um, and that's really what this is meant to be about. Is It's been inspired by a number of things. I've been attending and taking photos of a local memoir series. Thought about writing my own memoirs. My parents have been talking to me about their memoirs. I've actually read my father's, and my mom keeps promising that we'll get hers when she passes. Um, and yeah, so maybe if nothing else, this is it's an attempt to start putting things together for my own memoir. Who knows? The memoir may never get written, and maybe this is all that there'll be, but that's okay. Um, and maybe it will just be for my own children, my two daughters, and they'll be able to look back and learn some things about me that hopefully they want to learn. I'm not really sure. But like I said, I'm just going to start. So one of the things I'm hoping to do is certainly um, I'm fascinated by memory, and just recently, I think it was yesterday, my meditation app gave me uh, this idea, which is that you don't remember what happened. What you remember becomes what happened. And I've often said the idea that a memory is a memory of a memory. Um, so I'm interested in trying to figure out, are my memories true? How do they compare to other people's memories? Um, how do people see me versus how I see myself? Um, why do I have this incredible urge to grow and to learn? Um, and why do a lot of people not seem to have that same desire? As a school teacher, I one of my frustrations was that it seemed to me like a lot of people get to the end of their high school education and they think they're done. Right? I graduated. I don't have to learn anymore. And again, I think that's a huge mistake. Just because, for me, this has added a lot of meaning to my life. Anyway, I don't want to get too far into it yet because there'll be lots of videos to come. I'm going to start a little book. I have journals everywhere. That's another thing I might do. I have 3 journals here that I've filled. I have about 5 or 6 more downstairs. I've been writing for about 20 years. So these episodes may be like this, maybe like a video diary. It may be where I actually go back and read something from my journal. I've been thinking about, well, I've actually listed some things here. Certainly, I want to interview people. I want to interview my family, my parents, maybe my own family, my wife and my children, my friends, going back to high school, people that I grew up with, people that I still call my friends. And I have recordings of them all over the place too that I've never done stuff, both audio and video. I may do some episodes on things that have shaped me. Those of you who have watched my media videos, or perhaps you know me, know that media literacy became a huge and still continues to be a huge thing in my mind. Um, so I, want to look at my own shaping. That's been part of my, quest the last 10 years, I guess, is to kind of unlearn some things or to at least start understanding how I was shaped by the media. So I may do episodes on movies, TV shows, actors, actresses, video games, whatever it is. Again, to think, why do I like the things that I do? How have they shaped me? And perhaps you can learn something about yourself as well. Certainly reflections on events, right? Things that have happened in the past, things that are going to happen in the future, or that I think are going to happen in the future. Yeah, I may, of course, like I said, I want to bring all the me's kind of together. So certainly there'll be photos. There'll be videos, that I've taken over the years. I've been toying with some ideas of doing some recordings of some of my favorite things that I've read while showing videos. Anyway, it's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. But I think I'll just end this video with this idea, which is that, how do I see myself? And in many ways, yeah, some of the things I've already mentioned, certainly a father, a husband, a good son. Oh, well, again, a son, I should say. Maybe other people can decide if I'm a good son or not. Um, I'm very lucky that I have a lot of close friends, and I have had friends over the years. Some have come and gone. I know that I'm also sometimes not a very good friend, right? And I need to reach out more and to, because, the reality is I've come to understand that, if you want friends, you have to be a good friend. And sometimes I'm not that. Um, I was a teacher in the school system for 30 years, retired 2 years ago. Went a little earlier than I, technically should have. But I really felt like my time there was done. There were a lot of changes that had happened the last few years that I found very disheartening. And, and yeah, I just thought it was time to move on and do something else, which is partly what has led me to here. I am a photographer. I do quite a bit of photography. I've been doing that now for 20, 25 years, which again is part of why I'm doing this. It's interesting that now I kind of have history in my photography, so I go back and I look at it, and it takes me back to places. But again, I sometimes wonder if these memories are accurate or not. And I know that does that for other people as well. I've been writing more. I've always written a lot, but now I'm sharing my writing, which is, again, sometimes a difficult thing for me to do. Um, but it's good for me. I know it's good for me, for my thinking, to get things clear in my head. So I will continue doing that as well. I'm a sports lover. And my relationship with sports has definitely changed. And again, I have ideas in my head of what I want to write about and talk about related to that, both good and bad. I'm a movie lover. As I mentioned, I do play some video games. I used to, many years ago, I used to go to the arcade with one of my best friends quite a bit, and that's always been part of my life. Um, yeah, what else? I'm not much of a drinker, although I do enjoy cannabis. Again, mainly because I find alcohol numbs my brain, whereas cannabis kind of focuses my brain a little bit. I'm sure we'll talk about that in the future. Maybe even I'll do some recording after I've used cannabis, just to see if you can tell a difference. There aren't many, I think, who can. My wife can, but she's one of the few who can really tell that. And I can talk about why I think that's important as well. I've recently learned that there may be some ADHD in my family, and that it's genetic. So, perhaps that's part of what's happening as well. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna stop there because I don't want this to be too long and overwhelming. I just wanted to get a little video out there that kind of introduces the idea and what I'm doing, and why I'm doing it. And so I'm not going to set dates or days that I'm going to post things. I'll just kind of really, it'll probably end up being days that I feel inspired to do it, and I also have the opportunity, which might mean people out of the house like today. Um, yeah, and I hope that you'll tune in, you'll subscribe, you'll because really, when it comes down to it, I wrote a whole bunch of stuff here, but I think I'll leave this for next time. But the one thing I'll end with is this: is that, as I was growing up, I used to often talk to my parents about what was happening in the world. I still do that with them and with my friends. And I remember my mom would often say to me, "You can't change the world, but you can change yourself." And I think I've worked hard at that certainly the last 10 years. I've been working hard at trying to change myself a little bit. And I guess what I'm hoping is that maybe by changing myself, I can change the world. Not maybe change the world, maybe help others to see that there are opportunities to change, or how you go about changing. And then maybe that it will there'll be a little bit of a movement, so to speak. Again, I don't want to start with that purpose. I don't have these grand schemes of changing the world. Just maybe somewhere or somebody out there is going through similar things that I am, and they can find this useful. So thanks for tuning in. at least giving it a try. And like I said, if you want to be updated, you can subscribe. You can also go to goodnoise.ca. That's my webpage, and join my mailing list there, although I haven't sent out anything yet. But probably once this is up and running, I will do that, and then I'll regularly update when there are new episodes. Yeah, and I'm on Facebook at Good Noise, and Instagram at Some Good Noise. Yeah, you can find me in most of those places. So anyway, I hope I've covered everything. I'm sure I missed a ton, but that's okay too, because that's part of life. Thanks. Take care.